Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to dive into the agenda here. First of all, my name is Brendan Ellis. I'll be hosting this webinar today. I'll be providing a little bit of background about both our organizations, Barcodes and Hopstack, and our partnership as well, and what that means for some of our customers going forward. I'm going to go then hand it off to VIVEK Singh, who will dive into today's topic, the challenges of omnichannel fulfillment for modern 3PLs. Again, there will be a Q&A at the end for about 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, please, again, submit those into the chat. A little bit about a little background about Barcodes. For those of you that don't know, Barcodes has been in business for over 25 years. We have a large and dedicated team of solution architects, account executives, customer success, tech support, a ton of players that make this organization as great as it is. We are a leader in rugged field and mobility. And we do business with 70% of Fortune 500 companies. We have over 150,000 customers worldwide, and we are now global in US, the UK, Canada, and Latin America. We're extremely excited again to have Hopstack on board as our new software partner. Hopstack is located in Austin, Texas. They are a provider of an advanced AI-powered warehouse operating system to automate, optimize warehouse management, control, and execution. Some of the things that I think set Hopstack apart are their extensive integration capabilities with 50 out-of-the-box integrations across categories such as e-commerce, platforms, marketplaces, accounting software, ERPs, shipping carriers, and more. Another thing is their real-time multi-channel order consolidation and inventory reconciliation. Customers have reported 50% reduction in order lead times. 99% of orders shipped on time are on the same day, and a 50% increase in daily average orders are fulfilled. And on top of that, they have superior data. They have a robust analytics engine with no-code dashboard builder, with a no-code dashboard builder, granular visibility into key metrics and productivity, inbound and outbound reverse logistics. A little bit more about our partnership. Obviously, we're super excited about the unique software capabilities Hopstack brings to the table. By combining our capabilities, we're able to provide a full stack automation solution that meets our clientele's hardware and software requirements. It allows for seamless procurement and deployment, and integration of warehousing software and hardware and robotic solutions tailored to each client's needs. Together, we continue to simplify and democratize efficient fulfillment. Again, my name is Brendan Ellis. I've been at Barcodes for 3.5 years as a marketing specialist. I support partners like Hopstack and serve as a liaison between them and the Barcodes team. We also have Doug Mall on the call. Doug is the Director of Solutions Architecture at Barcodes, Inc. He has over 20 years of experience. He brings a ton of industry knowledge and technical expertise to the table and is a huge asset to the organization. And hopefully he will be able to fill in the gaps and answer some of the technical questions that may be beyond my pay grade. And without further ado, I want to introduce our keynote speaker, VIVEK Singh. VIVEK Singh is the co-founder and chief operating officer at Hopstack, Inc. For over 15 years, VIVEK has been a noteworthy leader in the warehousing technology and analytics domains. He's also recognized for his work at Bloomberg, Hitachi Consulting, Monsanto, and more. VIVEK's area of expertise involves logistics, digital transformation, the Internet of Things, startup ecosystems, warehouse management and execution, and data strategy. And with that, I am going to hand it over to VIVEK, and he will go over the challenges in omnichannel fulfillment for modern 3PLs. Thanks, VIVEK. Let me hand you over the controls here.
Thank you, Brendan. Hello, everyone, and I appreciate you all joining in. And thank you for that generous introduction, Brendan. I'm extremely excited about our partnership with Barcodes. Warehouses and DCs are an environment where hardware and software go hand in hand, right from data capture in the inbound and outbound logistic processes to deploying advanced robotic automation. As you already mentioned, the partnership between Hopstack and Barcode will enable full stack automation for the 3PLs, right from software to hardware. But today we'll be focusing on the evolving landscape of omni-channel fulfillment and the way it impacts third-party logistics provider. We'll also touch base on the current landscape for omni-channel commerce and fulfillment, the important role that third-party logistic providers or 3PLs can play as enablers in this new paradigm shift, the various aspects of these challenges as it relates to people, processes, and technology, and what are some of the potential solutions to address these challenges. Omnichannel in literal sense simply refers to the act of catering to your customers or stakeholders on the channel of their choice, whether it is online or offline. The term omnichannel has traditionally been used in the marketing context, but let's see how this particular term has garnered extreme relevance in the fulfillment and logistics industry. One of the significant catalysts for omnichannel fulfillment has been the growth of e-commerce. Online sales are growing at a healthy double digit, if not frantic, temporarily accelerated by the pandemic, but growing nevertheless. If you look at the contribution of e-commerce sales as a percentage of total retail sales, it was about in low single digit almost a decade ago. But it has rapidly risen to be around 15 to 16% of the total retail sales at present, and will be close to almost a third from within less than 5 years from now. It's already breached the $1 trillion threshold thanks to the rapid acceleration during COVID. So what does this truly mean? Now, no brand can dismiss e-commerce as a fad or a temporary phenomenon. In fact, they have to up their game to cater to customers on both offline and online channels. We need to actually go back in history a little bit to contextualize what we are seeing today. Around 2004 to 2008 was the time frame when the origins of the digital ecosystem was taking shape. That was the time when Apple came out with iPhone, and the others like Samsung followed suit, right? Facebook, Google, and other social media channels were becoming mainstream. The rapid growth of these digital channels, particularly social media and wider adoption of smartphones, has ensured that the initial touch point between the brands and all the consumers almost always happen online. In fact, most of the interactions today are happening online. Even the offline store traffic is driven by online transactions. You will realize that brands that are better than others at converting prospects into customers are also the ones that are really good at managing customer experience across various channels. Hence, no brand today wants to lose out to their competitors on any channel, be it physical, digital, or social in nature. As per a recent survey conducted by the National Retail Foundation in 2021, 83% of the shoppers cited convenience as the topmost influencing factor for their purchase decision. And then what can be more convenient than pressing the buy button on your phone from the context of your couch, right? So where do we get from here, right? The rise of online and consequent emergence of omnichannel has also resulted in changing consumer behavior and expectations. The biggest catalyst for this changing behavior is none other than Amazon. They've just taken the shopper experience to next level with ease of product discovery, inventory availability, seamless returns, and not to mention the lightning fast fulfillment experience. So if you're a brand today, you need to either work with Amazon's Prime Logistics service or actually work with a 3PL that can offer that kind of logistical capability. But not every brand or retailer can be Amazon themselves, right? Or afford the high fees that they pay for Amazon's fulfillment service. But the brands do need to get as close as possible to Amazon in terms of providing that seamless shopper experience. And that's where actually the 3PL comes in, where they play a very important role in bridging that gap. In traditional commerce, and especially in the digital world, the emphasis has always actually been on the buyer's journey from the shopper's perspective. But a combination of factors, as I mentioned already, like the Amazon phenomenon, on external shocks like the pandemic, has put a very, very strong emphasis now on the post-purchase and the fulfillment experience. Not all brands can focus on building that in-house fulfillment capability, and they shouldn't, right? Because their core is creating products, focusing on that product innovation, building their brand equity, and that's what they should continue to focus on, which means they can outsource a lot of this logistic and fulfillment challenges and capabilities to the 3PL partner. But today, brands actually have to work with distinct set of specialized 3PLs, one provider for their e-commerce fulfillment and a different provider altogether for their bulk fulfillments, like shipping to stores or other wholesale channels. And the brands are forced to do so because very few 3PLs have the capability to offer seamless omni-channel fulfillment experience. The 3PLs actually themselves have had their own journey, right? If you look at the traditional ones, they started off by catering to the regular the traditional wholesale channel, relying on pen, papers, emails, spreadsheets, or simply legacy softwares, if any. They were actually more focused on getting goods in and out without not at a pace which required them to be extremely speedy, right? But that pace is no longer cutting it. On the other hand, you have the modern 3PLs that are actually investing in advanced warehouse management and execution systems, deploying robots as well to achieve high levels of digitization and automation, because they actually have to compete and have to match that same day or 2-day fulfillment with an extreme high degree of accuracy. So what are some of the challenges that these 3PLs face today? If you look at the kind of capabilities, right, shipping containers and pallets to the distributor or the retail store versus offering pick, pack, ship service for small parcels at a high degree of accuracy requires totally different capabilities, be it in terms of people, processes, or technology. Now, 3PL actually used to be an extremely, or rather is, right, an extremely fragmented industry. On one side, you have all the large players, the like of DHL, Geodays, GXO, and then you have on the other end a host of extremely small or mid-sized operators, particularly the ones with not more than 3 facilities across the country, right? While the large 3PLs can afford to spend to augment their capabilities, the smaller ones also have to battle these challenges and figure out a way to stay relevant and competitive. Not just that, there is actually a challenge brewing on a different front. Now, what I call as the rise of new age tech-enabled 4PLs. These 4PLs are actually flushed with a lot of venture money and are outspending the incumbents in acquiring customers through various digital mediums. For instance, just for example, if you Google for a 3PL service in any major city across the country, you will always see the names of Flex, Todd, or ShipBob popping up, because they can outspend for any keyword compared to any of the other traditional 3PLs out there. And then this 3PLs actually in turn work with other 3PLs to use their facility and capacity. As a result, the 3PLs are pushed down the value chain, and they don't end up owning the customer relationship. This puts them in a very tight spot. They're always in a price war with their peers to be part of this 4PL network. And I always say this, that easier said than done, but the 3PLs should almost always aspire to be independent, and that's the only way they can have complete control over their customer engagement, their pricing, and the relationship. Then there is also this challenge in finding the right space and capacity, or maintaining enough facilities across the network. E-commerce has a totally different space and layout requirements. These facilities are either multi-storied and horizontally wider, versus your B2B facility that can be more compact with higher ceilings. So if you're actually a 3PL and want to expand into e-commerce fulfillment, you need to at least have 3, if not 4 facilities across the country to be able to reach more than 95% of the population in less than 2 days. This is resulting in capacity challenges, right? Facilities across the country are not being built fast enough to match the demand, which is then resulting in steep rise in rentals around the traditional warehouse markets along the coast, be it LA or be it the tri-state area. So hence, either the 3PLs have to pay a lot of premium to acquire these facilities, or look at alternatives like moving inland. The markets like Phoenix and Vegas are picking up now. As per a very recent estimate, I was reading this report which says you actually need 1.25 million square feet of space for every $1 billion in e-commerce sales, right? And we are adding close to $200 billion every year, if not more. So just imagine the kind of real estate challenges that lie ahead of these 3PLs. Not to mention the layout complexities are additionally dictated by various product categories that they handle, be it dry storage versus cold storage for meat products, or perishables like groceries, personal care products, B2B pallets and cases versus B2C small parcels, maintaining that floor storage versus buffer and overflow bins to ensure that the facilities cater to right inventory and SKU velocity for both bulk shipments and small parcels, right? So there's this whole, the space and the real estate challenge can be dissected by various dimensions. Software is another big part of the challenges that the 3PLs have today. It's a major handicap. Most of the 3PLs have to deal with the limitations of legacy warehouse softwares provided, or the legacy WMSs provided by the first generation ERP vendors, the likes of SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Infor, for that matter, to name a few. Now, if you look at the systems, right, these were not built for the modern connected and the omni-channel world. They were rather designed for an era where the brands or manufacturers shipped products to the distributors or the retailers through pallets and containers. In fact, if I have to be more specific, the softwares don't follow the principles of open connectivity to facilitate that seamless flow of data from various sales channels to the warehouse and then to the shipping carriers. Just for a simple example, if you are a 3PL that is servicing multiple clients that are using different ERPs or selling on multiple e-commerce platforms, you need to invest time in consulting or system integration services for your legacy WMS to integrate with the systems. And that's a huge time and money drain, thereby eating into your margin, right? And this process is repeated every time a 3PL onboards a new client. then the systems don't speak well to the hardware or robotic devices either. So if a 3PL gets to a scale when they have to deploy robots or ASRS systems or sorting conveyors, they have to avail the services of the system integrators again to move data between these devices and their legacy WMS. And that this legacy softwares were primarily, if you look at their original purpose, they were primarily built for record keeping, not so much to offer any intelligence so that you can run your fulfillment operations in an optimal way. Visibility for various stakeholders is another challenge for 3PLs. So if for 3PLs having the right visibility themselves and providing that necessary visibility for various stakeholders is also an extremely important requirement in today's world. And it is really not possible through the tools and the software of yesteryears. Imagine as a 3PL, if your inbound container is stuck in the middle of a Suez, and you're having no visibility into it, right? So you absolutely cannot plan your resources, right? So if you think from 3PL's client's perspective, like you're the brand or the retailer or manufacturer, you need to know where the inventory is. How long is the inventory lying in a particular facility? How is it moving to the facility or a network? What are your order lead times and fill rates? Then the shippers need to know the scheduled, the pickup schedule, the delivery schedule, and the volumes that they have to deal with. And then there are the end consumers. They need to know their expected delivery ETAs and the statuses of their orders. So there's a visibility challenge on all fronts, and a lot of these 3PLs that are using legacy tools are struggling to provide that visibility, and that hampers their ability to keep that business. Now, if you think of another aspect for the brands, is that they get billed by the 3PLs on the various inbound, outbound, and the storage transactions. For example, one of Hopstack's Midwestern 3PL clients mentioned to us that they were spending a few days every week just to reconcile the billing amount because the 3PL software they used before Hopstack wasn't capturing all the transaction or activity well to the granular detail, which was a huge time drain for them. Not to mention the poor client experience that they were providing to the brands. So what is really the way forward? We've spoken about a lot of challenges, but how could we potentially address most of these challenges, if not all? If you think of it, not everyone can really be great at everything, right? I mean, that's just the law of the universe, if I may. But the smaller and mid-sized 3PLs are really have their own strengths, and they should focus on their strengths and, in fact, double down on it. Some of the smallest 3PLs are really good at specialized material handling, like perishables or hazardous materials. They have a really good local distribution network, and they have great relationships with their carriers. So they should focus on building that. Not to mention going extra mile for your clients. Amazon fulfillment service, we think of the FBA service that Amazon offers, they reject shipments left, right, center, even for a misplaced label. So if you are a 3PL that goes that extra mile to work with the brands to offer personalized service, that 3PL will always win the brand's confidence over others. Most importantly, make the brands and your end customers or the end consumers whom you're shipping products to be part of this process, make them feel involved, which means that 3PLs really should be investing in software that provides a very intuitive brand or a client-facing portal, as well as an interface for the end consumer. Just as another example, some of Hopstack's 3PL clients have reported that they're able to shave off days of laborious effort every month answering support calls, various support calls. Now the 3PLs just onboard their clients as additional users on the Hopstack platform and help them get full visibility into their inventory and order velocity. So that's one way of solving a visibility problem and making everyone feel involved. Digitization, of course, right? Digital transformation is the new buzzword, but it truly has become a necessity. You will be surprised to learn how incredibly untouched by technology the world of 3PL is. More than 70% of the 3PL operators are still dependent on emails and spreadsheets, right? So investing in technology should be their number one priority. And it's not even an option anymore, right? It's really required for them to stay competitive, stay relevant, and have that business. Unlike the old days, 3PLs don't really need to be, and that's a good news. Unlike like they don't really need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars with legacy enterprise vendors and system integrators. Onboarding a sophisticated cloud-based platform through monthly or quarterly subscriptions can get them going in matters of days and weeks, right? They should also, I believe they should also invest in digital data capture devices like scanners, barcode printers, mobile PDAs. I'll cite another example here. We have seen one of Hopstack's 3PL customers. They went from 110 picks an hour to 300 picks an hour by empowering their pickers with high velocity mobile scanners. And those scanners were powered by Hopstack's warehouse software. So simple investment in tools like this can show a lot of impact in productivity, in efficiency, and in the overall employee experience. You don't really have to have a huge capex budget. Some of the 3PLs, especially the mid-size ones with national presence, can actually focus on moving up the value chain to provide that managed value-added service to the brands, as some of the previously mentioned 4PLs do. Of course, it is easier said than done because 3PLs have to become very tech savvy, become really good at the digital game. But if they do, they can really have an edge over those other 4PLs, because the 4PLs or some of those recent tech-enabled 4PLs, they don't really go that extra mile in providing that customer service. A quick word on how we have enabled at Hopstack the 3PLs to overcome a lot of these challenges that we spoke about. We have seen significant success in 3PL enablements by offering a full stack solution for the 3PLs to run omni-channel operations. The platform actually comes with out of the box integration with various components of the ecosystem, right from your e-commerce marketplaces and web stores, in case of B2C, to ERP systems and shipping carriers for B2B. The platform is also laced with a no-code workflow designer and a rule engine that allows the businesses to model any scenarios or set up automation rules without having them to have a lot of technical expertise. Now, this kind of agility helps the 3PL clients onboard a new brand, a new customer, or add a new facility to their network with very few mouse clicks, and not actually needing to invest in any in-house software capabilities. We have also had some traditional B2B 3PL clients that embarked into e-commerce fulfillment and the other way around in just a matter of few days because of the agility of the software. Moreover, the platform takes a very data-first approach to the warehouse operations. The underlying engine actually makes recommendations around process optimizations, like what should your ideal picking wave be, what should the optimal picking route be, how should inventory be slotted, or tasks be allocated to various associates on the warehouse floor. All such decisions are made by the software itself. I'll cite a couple of more examples. In one of those, an e-commerce fulfillment client of ours is now able to fulfill more than 98% of its order in less than 48 hours with an error rate less than 0.2%. their average fulfillment SLA was closer to 5 days before using the platform. Similarly, we have other 3PL customer specializing in discretionary consumer goods that have reported more than 200% improvement in their fulfillment throughput by onboarding their operations on the platform. They actually went from handling 2,000 orders a day to 15,000 orders during peak season without adding a single dollar in their payroll cost. So that's how we have enabled all our clients to achieve a greater inbound and outbound efficiency across the board, resulting in almost near perfect order rate, something that we're really proud of, and greater than 98% fill rates. So yeah, that would be a wrap from me. I'm actually really excited for this collaboration with Barcodes and the overall future outlook of tech adoption in the 3PL industry. We'll be glad to answer any questions from folks on the call.
Thank you, Vivek. There is a few questions that came in, so I'm going to direct them towards you. Jerry Westbrook, will this deck be available for us? Yes, Jerry, we can send this out to you after the webinar, along again with the recording of the entire webinar as well. So feel free to share that among your coworkers and staff. Another question that came up is, how is Hopstack different from other WMS systems?
That's a great question. So if you think of WMS, right, as I mentioned, WMS were traditionally built as the first generation of warehouse software, very focused on the record keeping, put data in, data out. So really the first way of digitization. But when you look at modern warehouse softwares, they really need to go above and beyond what a traditional or any WMS can do. They primarily have to be connected into all your ecosystems, whether you are selling on e-commerce marketplaces or web store platforms like Shopify, whether you are selling wholesale via your ERP systems, having a direct carrier integration. So a lot of this connectivity is needed within your modern warehouse software, and that's what Hopstack provides. The other key differentiating factor is the no-code paradigm on which the software is built. It really offers a very intuitive interface for various stakeholders in the warehouse facility, be it the warehouse manager or the picker, packer, or receiver. Offers them a very intuitive, guided workflow so that they can focus on the job at hand as opposed to be bothered about entering data into the system, right? And then the third key differentiating factor is the data-centric approach, which I spoke about. The platform makes actually prescriptive recommendations across a lot of optimization tasks in the warehouse, like how should your layout be, how should your inventory be slotted, how should tasks be allocated between different associates, what your wave picking size should be. So these are some of the decisions that traditionally happened by extracting data out of the systems and running your own models outside the system, but this is now natively built into the software. So that's why that's why Hopstack is more of a warehouse operating system, and which is like a very advanced WMS, if I may.
Awesome, thank you. Another question that came up here, and maybe Doug can help elaborate on this a little bit as well. Can you elaborate on Hopstack's hardware integration capability? Is Doug still on?
Yeah, sure, I'll take that one. Yeah, so certainly we'll want to have individual conversations and see what makes sense, but there are a lot of technology options out there when it comes to data collection. And the Hopstack platform supports all of the major platforms. So we can help find hardware devices that meet your needs from a facility standpoint, from an operational standpoint, but it really starts with a conversation around what you're trying to accomplish and where we can find ROI. So happy to help with that in follow-up.
And then we got time for a couple more here. Let's see. So though pen and paper or traditional methods are not as effective but are affordable, how can 3PL justify the investments versus the ROI?
Yeah, I think that certainly always is a cause of friction for a lot of 3PLs, because they always tend to think about softwares in the traditional sense, and a lot has happened over the last 10 years in terms of making softwares cheaper, making democratizing access to technology, right? So no longer do you have to have a heavy capex and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, in enterprise class software like the ones provided by SAP, Microsoft, or Oracle. But there are softwares that are uh, available on the cloud, more accessible, like a software as a service, which really fits into your OpEx than CapEx, and are truly affordable in a sense of, you could be up and running in probably not spending more than few $1,000s a year. So that's how affordable softwares have become, and you'll be surprised the kind of impact the softwares can have on your business. So it's way, I would say, even it's way cheaper than having pen and paper today.
Great. And then another question. How do we go about training the existing workforce in any new hardware and software that we adopt, and ensure the minimum possible lead time? And that might be a kind of a question for both of Doug and VIVEK.
Yeah, I'll let Doug talk about the hardware aspect, and then I can quickly touch base on the software aspect. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So the hardware part is easy. When we look at any sort of a hardware deployment, we're trying to take any of the onboarding out of it as much as possible. We can do that with different softwares like MDMs to lock devices down, make sure that users have access to just the applications they need. So absolutely 90% of it's going to be from a process perspective. What are the software processes they're going to follow? But we're definitely here to help with any of the hardware concerns that aren't addressed through an effective deployment.
And from the software, if you think from the software part, right? And I'll say this: lot of the when a lot of the legacy softwares are built, they almost always forgot the last mile worker operating on the floor. So these softwares are clunky, not easy to use, and hence involve a lot of time and cost in training new employees, right? Which is one of the major things that modern softwares like Hopstack and others have started to take into account, where we're making it very intuitive, making it very usable, user friendly, and almost making it so simple that, if you can operate a smartphone, you should be able to operate the warehouse software without requiring a whole lot of training, right? That's how we are thinking through making it more usable. In fact, one of the nice side benefits reported by one of our 3PL client is that the training budget went down by 22%, because almost everyone was on board within a matter of hours, as opposed to requiring them to go through a week long of training. Right?
Awesome. And then time for one last question. How do we identify the right time for implementing automation devices and robotics?
I'll take a stab at that, and Vivek certainly fill in if I miss anything. But there's so many opportunities, especially when you look at the ROI combined with OpEx situation. We can do the same thing for hardware as we can do with software. So you end up getting in these positive ROI situations very quickly with some what would have been considered complex solutions. So it really starts with the discovery. I hate to keep going back to that, but we want to talk to you about what your individual concerns are and where there might be opportunities to leverage technology, either hardware or software, to find ROI in your processes that you have today. Specifically around robotics, we've been really impressed to find solutions that have 2 to 3 day implementations for some pretty basic use cases. Like it could be as simple as having employees that previously went from A to B to pick up dunnage, used corrugate or other things that are moving from one spot to another in a facility. Implementing an AMR to take take over that operation and get your employee doing something else has a positive ROI in a lot of cases in a matter of as soon as the deployment is done. So it starts with that discovery to look at where there are opportunities for efficiencies, leveraging modern technology.
Awesome, great. Thank you. Just want to thank everyone for joining us. A big thanks to Hopstack and VIVEK for presenting this very informative presentation. For more information regarding this webinar, again, we'll be sending out a recording to everyone that registered after the event. We have our contact information here. We can share the deck with you as well. You can, of course, visit our website, barcodesinc.com and hopstack.io. Again, thanks everyone for joining, and we hope to hear from all of you soon.
Thank you, everyone.